Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Jennie Walker, and welcome to Closet Conversations. Today I want to talk to you about my first live selling show on the newly realized by me auction selling site that's been around a couple of years called WhatNot. WhatNot is a selling site with auctions primarily where you can access it in Canada and in the United States. Just to make that clear, it is not global yet. But I had my first live selling show. I applied, and I talked about that in a previous podcast, and I thought I should talk about it before I forget about it because it was interesting. So let me get into it. So, the first one's always kind of interesting. You don't really know what to expect. You don't know how many people are going to come. You don't know, you don't really have an audience yet, et cetera, et cetera. Mine was prime time, so I was competing with a lot of people. But yeah, so I had my first show. Just as I was going live, I was inside my consignment shop, and someone was banging on the door saying, "Do you have a business card? Can I come in?" And because it was all locked, and I had this a deer in headlights moment, and instead of leaving the live, I said, "I don't have any cards," and shoot her away. Isn't that silly? Oh gosh. Anyway, that's what happens when you have a whole lot going on at once. I didn't want to disappoint the audience, so I disappointed her instead, which is kind of silly, but there we go. So that's how it started. So I had my ring light out. I had my phone up. I had rushed to buy an extension cord so that I could plug in the ring light and have enough space to the wall and not trip over it. I had bought little numbers from Amazon so I could number each item. I had methodically listed all these things. I didn't know what to list, had no clue. I thought, okay, let me make organized things where everything looks like it goes together, like black and white and red. And I did all that. I put all this thought into it, numbered everything, and then I found out that the system automatically puts things in alphabetical order. So it was, hard to I didn't know that I should have put a 1 in the front. So anyway, little things like that were popping up. So I got 30 items listed, everything from something I could auction for $1 to things that I didn't want to auction for maybe less than 40 or 50. So I put all that out there, didn't know what to expect. People trickled in at the beginning, a few people. I think my max number was about 18 people that came into that show. And the average number was about 12. So 12 people on average for a brand new seller, brand new show at a prime time, competing with all these other shows, and 18 max that I saw. So, all right. So I started going through my items, and, I had a few technical things, I wasn't sure how to make the item work. It's all this stuff. So, you're getting through it. It's no problem. Started off my first item, and, no one bid on it. I was like, oh, this is a great start. So, it took a couple of items before people actually bid on anything. And I had told myself I didn't want to, start anything at $1. Once you get into it, you're like, man, I'm feeling desperate. Maybe I should start something at $1. But my first sale was a $15 dress by, it was a collaboration, Anna Sui and the Target collaboration. I'd probably spent $8 on that dress at the Goodwill, and, probably had a coupon of 15% off or something like that. So, maybe I have $7 in it or something, $6.50 or $7. I sold for $15. So I definitely made a profit on that. But the thing that I didn't realize, there was so few people watching, is that there weren't going to be a lot of other people competing for it because there's nobody in there, right? I didn't have hundreds or thousands of people. I had 10 people, 12 people on average. So that I did not consider. And so as I kind of got into it, I'm like, okay, what's the deal? And it didn't occur to me that there weren't enough people to make it a really good auction, people competing against other people. There just weren't enough numbers there. And so, it was really interesting to try to figure out, okay, what am I going to do, right? So I had my first sale. It was very exciting. It didn't sell for a lot, but it did sell for a high price in terms of I started it at $15 and it sold at $15. So I kept telling myself, let my starting price be what I'm willing to sell it for. So I sold that. I had a couple of auction items, and one of the things that I learned the hard way, because I didn't know, meaning I didn't make sure I knew, I didn't study, I didn't read the information on it. So I found out the hard way, so to speak, is I had 2 giveaways, and what I didn't know is that you have to pay for those giveaways, meaning you have to pay a fee for the privilege of giving away items on the site. So one cost me like $4 and something. The other one cost me $2 and something. I didn't realize that. So maybe it has to do with shipping weight or something. I don't know why, but they took away points or something. So that was interesting. So I looked in, I had a minus $650 in my account to start with, and it was because I had done those giveaways. So that I didn't know. So for the record, if you do giveaways, you're going to have to, you pay for that. If for someone who's a brand new seller, maybe you don't do a giveaway the first time, or if you do, make sure it's very small and it's like 1 ounce or less. I guess that's why people give away these gift cards, is because it's going to cost them less in terms of the site for the privilege of doing that. But I learned that I sold a Justin Bieber tour T-shirt for $5. I sold some bundles, and this was really cool. Is it the same people, if they were buying, they were kind of in there looking to buy. So the more you buy, you can get better rate on the shipping and things like that. So one person bought 4 things for me. I couldn't believe it. And someone else bought 2, but had also won the 2 giveaways. So she ended up with 4 things for me. So in terms of bundling, I feel like, well, this is an opportunity for people who, if they're interested in your stuff and staying around, then perhaps they're going to stay around and see what else that you have. So that was really cool. I sold like a tank top, and a crop top. And when I looked to see the shipping, it was going to Canada. So someone paid $15 in shipping to get this item to them in Canada, which was this adorable crop top that I sold for $8 by this moderate brand called Luxell, but it was super cute. So I thought that was interesting. They paid almost double the price to ship it than they paid for it to get into Canada. So that was really interesting. So that I made a note of. So I think all in all, I made $70 and selling on the site. I definitely made a profit, nothing to write home about. I sold a sweater I accidentally sold a sweater for $5 because I started it too low and hit the wrong button. So I paid $4 for it. So I think I broke even. A pair of socks, they were the Walking Dead promo socks from AMC Theater from 2014. Those I started $1 because I had gotten them at the Goodwill bins. I probably paid $0.25 for them. And someone bought them for $3. So, it was, somebody bought some Zara pants for $8. Someone bought a Torrid shirt for $8. Somebody bought a handbag for this beautiful woven leather handbag by one of these boutique brands that you never heard of. I couldn't get it to sell for $15. I ended up selling it for $8 or $9. I probably made money, maybe after the fees, I doubled my money at best. Maybe I had $30 into all of that. But probably I didn't make that much because those Zara pants that I sold were actually my pants that I had paid for at the store. So that was probably $15 minimum, the lowest prices would be. So, my first one I sold, I was shocked at the number of items that went out the door. 2 were giveaways, but still it was 4, I think that's 8, 9, 10, 11 items, $70, and that's an average of $7 a piece, and out it went. There was nothing really good in any of that, nothing that was super high-end, super luxurious, because no one bid on those things that I had. I had done a Kate Spade purse. I had a Kate Spade wallet. No bidders. I had, a Coach briefcase. No bidders. I had all kinds of things that people weren't interested in. And I don't know if it's just because there were only 12 on average people watching. What are the chances that that's what they're looking for? So I think part of the lesson is when you're starting out, you got to remember there's not going to be much competition in the bidding. So to get someone to buy it at any price at all when you start, if one person's interested, you got to consider yourself lucky. So as you're building this up. What it did do is give me some perspective on, because I'm new and starting out, I'm not going to be in a position to have a bunch of bids being run up and people like really bidding crazy because there's just literally not enough people in there. There's not enough eyeballs on what I have for that to make sense. And so I'm going to have to build it and grow it in order for that kind of audience to be attracted to my sales and for that kind of running up the bid to take place. I am not there yet. But what it did do, listen to this, so immediately today, the next day, is I ran a big sale in Poshmark, and I went, okay, if I'm not, what is the alternative? Go ahead and put a big sale in Poshmark or sit here and try to get $8 for something on WhatNot. So I ran a big sale, and I sold like a Zara hoodie for $24. I sold, here, actually, I'm going to look it up and tell you what I sold in my big sale today on Poshmark, just to give you an example of if it's $7 on average at this stage, I will do better than to sell on Poshmark. So I got $24 for a Zara hoodie, $30 for an Armani jersey top, $27 for a Zara dress, $28 for a Zara crop top, $28 for a Free People velvet jacket, $145 for a Moschino dress. So all of that is much more, 2 and 3, maybe 4 times more than what the thing sold for or WhatNot. So now I feel like, okay, it's not that I don't want to do WhatNot, but I have to figure out how to use it. So I'm in Pacific Coast, West Coast. The least used times of the app are like midnight to 3 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I can guarantee you that's when I will be on, midnight to 3 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I'm a night owl, so I stay up late anyway. So what I'm thinking is I might start some shows like 11 o'clock at night. And instead of bringing everything into my store and having it there, I'm going to have a setup at home where it all is anyway. It was too much trouble to drag it in there. So I'm going to have it in my house right in front of where I photograph this beautiful painting, where I photograph all my inventory. I'm going to set it up at home and just have it at night at my leisure at the end of the day because I feel like it. If I have 10 things, I have 10 things. If I have 30 things, I have 30 things. So the pressure is off now that I've had the first one. And that's how I'm going to use it. I'm going to build it up slowly with things I truly don't care about. Like I have got thousands of pieces of inventory in this lovely apartment where I live that have never been listed. That has nothing to do with the other thousands that are in here. It's believe me, my whole second bedroom, it's nothing but rolling rags, if you get the picture. So I am going to figure out what are the things that I can sell for $1 or $2 or $5 and under, and let that be the beginning of a lot of what I sell. I'll mix in other things too, like the things that are already listed that didn't sell. Obviously, I will run those again because they're already in there. So that's the way I'm going to do it. It's going to take me a while to get paid, much longer than Poshmark. It's like 4 or 5 days after it's received by the person. Like, that's a long wait time. They have a way for you to improve that. When you have sold 1,000 units, you can get your money once something's been scanned, I think. So obviously, in order for me to get 1,000 units, I've got to start putting some time in, and I'm willing to do it. I definitely have 1,000 units I can sell through them. It's just, what am I willing to sell for $10 or less, right, or $15 or less at the beginning until I can build up an audience. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I use those plastic numbers. I don't know how much difference that made, to be honest. I thought it was super cute. I'd seen someone else use them. I ordered them off of Amazon. I don't know that it makes that much difference, but I thought it was because it's so chaotic when the auction's taking place what's the purpose of the number? So the purpose is going to have to be to keep me organized, not the audience organized, because they're going to be kind of clueless. You know, they're not going to be paying attention to the number so much as the item itself, and unless they're trying to find it online. And there isn't enough time to really study a listing when it's coming up for auction and see what it is. And what I ended up doing, and this is something to think about, is that at this point there's no integration of any of your listings from Shopify or Poshmark or eBay or anything like that. That is something they said they're working on that I asked them about. So until they are going to really be hampered and hindered until they fix that, because for me to create all new listings to make $7 or less on an item, it's not worth the effort, right? So when that happens, integration happens, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to use this platform and to make a whole lot more sense. But in the meantime, I said, well, what can I do? So what I ended up doing is pulling up my item that was, if it was already listed on Poshmark, I pulled up my Poshmark listing, and then I did a screenshot with my cell phone, and I cropped out all the information, the black top things at the top and bottom, including the description where I blocked out even the price and only had the description, so it didn't say Poshmark's name anywhere. And so I put all that in, like 4 and 5 pictures, every angle, and the description. Is that necessary? Probably not, but I didn't know what else to do. Like, how are these people going to know the waist? How are they going to know the size? Like, and I didn't have my tape measure handy, which I definitely want to have at the next one. So I gave a lot of information, but I'm not sure people looked at it. So unless you're going to study the sale ahead of time and see what's in the inventory ahead of time, you're given a lot of information that in the real time, I don't know how much people are paying attention to it. So it was probably overkill for me to put in, 5 and 6 pictures. But I did feel good about finding a shortcut, which was just pulling up the listing that I already made and just clicking. It's more like clicks, click, 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 clicks, right? And not having to write something, create something from scratch. So that was helpful. So that was my experience, and I don't know how to feel about it. It is not at this point a place to sell luxury in my mind, where I've been selling on this other platform, because I don't have enough people looking at me, period. Like, there's 12 people online, forget it. So to me, this platform, you're going to have to build it up, build your audience, start with lesser things, and over time, you'll be able to build your audience and sell some things. I think I was disappointed in things that didn't sell, and I felt like, well, perhaps they were too high. But now that I've had time to reflect on it, it's not too high. It's just the person who's willing to pay me $8 was not watching out of the average of 12. And so I reduced the price on some things unnecessarily just because I felt like maybe I should reduce it. Maybe it's only worth $5. Maybe it's only worth $1. But that's not true. It is definitely worth more. And it's up to me as a seller to retain the price that I want for it and not be thrown off by the fact that no one bid, right? So that's something I learned by going through the process. So I think in time, it could be a place to move moderate items at a higher price. But in no way do I see myself not selling on Poshmark, people. As a matter of fact, I am very sure that the next thing Poshmark has probably got on their list is develop the auction for their platform. I mean, eBay has it. WhatNot's taken all their Poshmark sellers. So there's no way Poshmark is not going to get on this bandwagon at some point. It's just a matter of when. As a matter of fact, Poshmark needs to go on and open up the borders between U.S. and Canada, because apparently WhatNot figured it out. So that is something that will be a huge benefit to all of us when that happens. But there's for sure Poshmark will eventually get there. We know eBay's trying this out. In the meantime, just know that this app is new for vintage fashion. It's been around a couple of years. Funko Pop and baseball cards and vintage records, vinyl, heavily male-oriented user base. It's fairly new over the last few months. they've opened this up, and the Poshmark community's kind of jumped on. So we know how the Poshmark community is. This is a very vocal, very active, very creative group, and they're going to pop on there and totally transform it. There's no question. They're already doing it. But that means then that the audience is going to have to build itself up as well with more people watching that would want what we have to offer. So those are my thoughts after my first selling session. What I think is hilarious is that I went out at the end of the day. I'd put my makeup on, I'd done my hair, I'd put a nice outfit on, and by the time it went from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I looked like a train wreck. So in terms of how I looked on camera, I was not happy with that. So that is something that I realized was not going to work, to not be able to work all day and then do that at the end of the day. It doesn't make sense. So I've got to find out a better way to put it and work it into my life, which, as I've just said, seems to be at night when I can come home, refresh from the day, clean up, and have the best presentation of myself on that camera. I was very, very pleased that people were very supportive, like, "Oh, Jennie, your first show, yeah, you know." And they were like, "You're doing a great job," and that really helped, trust me. What was interesting is I advertised it in my stories and on my Instagram page. There were probably 3 people of the audience, and remember, now I will say it was 12 people, but people come in and out. So these were different people, right, over time. But I do know at least 3 people, maybe 4 people came to check it out that knew I was doing it from my social media. So I got 4 people, which is 4 that wouldn't have come any otherwise. And they weren't there to shop. They were just there to support me and see what I was doing. So I think going forward, I would not do an Instagram post, but I would do an Instagram story. And I would do a story because the audience that I have on Instagram in this side of what I do, in my opinion, I think the audience in my Instagram primarily is interested in me as a unique vintage seller, my Moschino collection, the high-end vintage. I don't even put my other stuff on there. So it doesn't make sense that page is going to draw the user. It's kind of off-brand for me. It's kind of like left of center. The people on that page, while there are plenty of people that are in reselling, a lot of the people that have been following me lately are stylists, people, photographers, magazines, editors, people that are in that part of the industry. So I don't want to confuse people about what I'm doing by having this information up there. So perhaps I will create a different account or just not try to support it that way, only support it with, say, a podcast, putting it out this way, or just building the audience organically on the app as it is, because I can't do both. I can't be all of this. In other words, I can't be the Moschino girl and the girl selling on WhatNot clearance at midnight, right? It does not make sense. So that is something I'm figuring out for myself, is how do I work it in when I have so many other ways that I sell and or rent my inventory. So I have tried so many things at this point, which I love doing, by the way. I love to have some sort of grasp on it so that I can understand what's happening in this industry. So I will figure this out and see if it's worth my time and worth continuing to do for what I do. In the meantime, I got, about $50 is going to come to me in a week, and that'll be nice. That'll be a nice thing. And I will do another one. And perhaps I'll do another podcast when I do, but probably be in my story. So if you want to know when I do it, just please follow me on WhatNot at Jennie Walker is what it's under on the app, or you can follow me on Instagram. And if you've not tried it out yet, you can get a free shopping coupon. You get $10. I get $10 if you download the app and then use my code, which is on the link in my Instagram bio at Jennie Girl's Closet. That's JENNIE, Girl's Closet. Or if you're interested in being a seller, the word has it you can get accepted faster if you use a referral code. I don't know. I'm not there, but that's what I've been told. I have a referral code in my bio link as well if you want to try it out and be a seller and just see how it goes for you. So have that in there. And that's it. This was my first experience. It was exciting. It was interesting. I learned a lot. And now I'm figuring out how to make it work for me moving forward. And it's definitely worth checking out. Learn more at WhatNot.com. And that's it. This is Jennie Walker with Closet Conversations. I appreciate having you with me today. Look forward to having you with me on a future episode. If you want to be in touch, please reach out to me at JennieGirl's Closet on Instagram. Take care and have a good rest of the night.